What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. I have some news. I've realized something. Part of the reason I think I love Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter Wild so much is more than just the actual Monster Hunter aspect. Truth be told, I think it's more than just hunting monsters. I think it's taking the character from average to absolutely broken. And what I mean by that is I was doing a little bit of talking, a little bit of searching, soul searching, if you will, after I saw the Ascendance trailer that I recorded late last night. Well, after I did that, I was kind of thinking about it. A lot of the games that I've played over the years have that sort of style to them. I was a huge Destiny 2 fan. I have easily over 2,500 hours. I loved Final Fantasy 14. I have over 1,000 hours. I played old World of Warcraft, old EverQuest 2. For those of you that are a little older and you're not a spry young 20-year-old anymore. I mean, I'm going on 30. So like, this is not actually. I turned 28 this year, but optimizing every piece of a build and having an amazing character is what I do. It's what I like. I'm a build crafter and a theory crafter. And after putting hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter and doing that, turning around, and now I'm doing it with a new game. And that new game is Diablo 4. Both of them scratch the same itch for me. The perfect build, the perfect class in this case, instead of the perfect weapon, the perfect gear, the perfect affixes. The moment everything finally clicked and my character is unstoppable. And I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun. For years, I've obsessed with builds in every game. So this is a little bit of a transition video into the comparisons that I have and why you as a Monster Hunter player should consider playing Diablo 4, considering it is a live service ARPG that allows you to just go in, have fun, and do some crazy stuff. That being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Now, in Wilds, we farm flat-rolled gear, we optimize our skills with decorations, talismans, so on and so forth, and we build around our weapon strengths. In Diablo, you farm RNG-based random gear, and you chase things called GAs, greater affixes. You optimize your abilities, and you build around your different synergies. You can see here in this background footage, I am playing with 2 other people, and we are doing something called the Infernal Hordes. This is an in-game mode that pretty much turns into non-stop waves of enemies. And you can see there's so much going on the screen. Only some of it's me. There's 2 other people here doing absolutely crazy things. Part of the reason I got so hooked on this game is because it reminds me of all of these other games that just do build crafting well. Every upgrade matters, every stat matters, and everything you do pushes the build closer and closer to perfection. So, today's video is going to be a little bit of a showcase on my Apocalypse Warlock, which is what I'm currently playing, that lets you guys see whether maybe Diablo is something you are interested in or not. Now, you guys have seen a little bit of gameplay on my Apocalypse Warlock. Now, what we need to do is show you guys exactly how Diablo works. Down here, we have our hotbar. Our hotbar is just going to be the different abilities that we use. I play on mouse keyboard, which is why my settings look like this. Long story short, 1, 2, and 3 are my different varying abilities. Q is a special ability that I normally use. E is always my ultimate. And my right click is my primary attack. Just so you guys know what I am referring to when I talk about my different things, because I will be making builds on a lot of different things. Okay, there's a lot to do in this game. Our red orb over here is our health pool. Our M5 right here is our potion quantity, as well as how much it heals, the amount there. Our space is just an evade. This is because there is AoE mechanics that will put like cones or area of effect on the actual screen, so you can kind of dodge out of the way. We have our town portal, which allows us to move, and then we have our specific resources. Being on Warlock, you have 2. 1, Dominance, 2, Wrath. Wrath is used to cast the majority of your spells, as well as Dominance is used for any sort of demon spells. Okay? Long story short, the way Apocalypse works is you will use your 1, my Nether Step, right here, for an evade. Not only does this give you damage reduction, but it gives you increased movement speed. You will press your 2, Dark Prison, and this will weaken enemies, forcing them to do less damage, as well as, it didn't say it, but we applied a vulnerable, which is going to make them take increased damage as well, which is now seen by the blue bar, or aura, around the health bar. 3 is going to be Bombardment. This is just an AoE attack, do a little extra damage. Q is going to be our summon, which we just activated the active portion of, because there's 2 parts. 1, actually summoning the demon. 2, going to be commanding it to give us our buffs. And lastly will be our primary and our ult. Our primary, we shoot out these little spikes that have chains go around. And then our ultimate, Apocalypse, which is just a giant AoE explosion that gains stacks whenever we do any sort of fire damage. Fire damage, fire damage, fire damage. I hope you guys kind of see what's happening. The stacks go anywhere from 20 to 100. The higher you get, I recommend about 100. 90 to 100 is a good sweet spot. Once you get to that margin, you can pop your ult. Popping your ult just does a ton of damage. And you can see here with my chain spinning, it just keeps racking up all of those stacks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and showcase all of this in the actual skill tree portion. I'm trying to remember how to full screen it, and I just don't. That's okay. We'll do it like this. So you have basic skills, and you have core skills. Our core skills are going to be Umbral Chains and Bombardment. Bombardment is going to have additional Demon, which throws just an additional one whenever you activate it. This is our 3. It is going to have Endless Barrage, which makes it a Hellfire skill, giving us Apocalypse stacks. And Focus Target, which is going to do increased damage when it only hits 1 enemy. This is especially good against bosses that are more often than not isolated. Okay. Our primary is Umbral Chains. Umbral Chains is normally a shadow spell, but we are changed it to Chain Whips, turning it into a Hellfire skill, allowing us to, once again, take advantage of Apocalypse. As well as we have Heavy Harpoon, because this is going to knock enemies back, and it is going to give us a damage increase against them. And the Long Range Slow, which is just going to do as it says, which is fly a little further and inflict a slow. Right over here, we have Dark Prison. Dark Prison is going to slow enemies, weaken enemies, and it is going to reduce the amount of damage that we take. So it's a nice little damage mitigation tool, as well as helping you out with your actual playstyle. This one is definitely really nice when you're running into mobs on Torment 12, because the ad density is crazy. The additional parts to it is the Weaken. Any enemy that is in this circle is going to get weakened. Weaken, you can see here, enemies do reduce damage. Okay. Chain Aura, also turning it into a Hellfire skill to allow us to, once again, stack on Apocalypse. And Fortify, which is just an additional set of health. All of these abilities, if you guys are confused, you may get lost the whole bit. Whenever you hover over any of your tabs in here and it gives you a specific ability, it will tell you in the keyword in the section right below it exactly what it does for you. If you still have questions, make sure to ask. Nether Step is just going to be a damage reduction, movement speed increase. It's your get out of jail free card. You can sit there and dodge AoE attacks because you literally vanish through. It's really, really nice. And we're going to do it with movement speed for the increase, as well as additional damage reduction. Going down to our second set, or our third set of abilities, we have Sigil of Subversion, and we have Sigil of Chaos. Both of these are just going to end up being super, super helpful whenever you are killing anything, doing anything. They are passives that will sit there and help you, okay? There's not a whole lot you need to worry about them. You just need to make sure that you get the movement speed, the Sigil of Lava, the slow, the volatility casts. I almost really messed that word up. Hellfire Aura, and volatility duration. Wow, I'm really struggling with that word today. And last but not least is the most important part of the entire thing, Apocalypse. This just creates a giant sigil on the ground, which detonates after a couple seconds and does a crazy amount of damage. No cooldown on it. All you need to do is build stacks. Ideally, because it goes up to 100 stacks, you want to make sure that you are doing that as often as possible, getting it to at least 80 stacks, preferably 90 to 100. Survivor damage is one of the biggest parts of the entire thing. Enemies that survive your Apocalypse, because it just does that kind of damage, end up being hexed. Not only do they take more damage based off of their missing life, but they also will take 100% increased damage. Which means if you have enough enemies in front of you, you can spam all of these little spikes, just like this. Once all of those spikes go off, you can detonate it, and you can detonate another one. You can see that AoE wasn't as big. It's because I didn't have as many stacks. So, next part to it is Double Blast. Apocalypse's final hit has a 20% chance to hit a second time, or hit twice. When Apocalypse is empowered by Volatility, the chances increase to 100%. Now, Volatility, you saw we were able to increase and activate very easily. Meaning, we have a 100% chance when it is active for us to do 2 Apocalypse at the highest level immediately. Very nice. And Annihilation. This is going to increase the size and the damage of the explosion based on the number of stacks you have, which is why it's important to have 100 stacks. All of these together is absolutely crazy, but there is more. We have Soul Shards. Soul Shards are pretty much... they are Warlock-specific equipment that allows you to change the greater demons that you are going to be using. In the case of us, we are using the Ritualist Shard. Ritualist Shard gives occult skills, which is all of ours, minus all of our main ones, like Apocalypse, our Umbral Chains, our Nether Step, and our Dark Prison, and is going to make them do more damage. But on top of that, we are using Scorching Fragment, which is another modifier that goes specifically with this Ritualist Shard, which makes it to where all of our occult Hellfire skills, i.e. our Umbral Chains, our Apocalypse, take some of our life. In turn, we get Volatility. When we get Volatility, we get to activate our Apocalypse twice because it becomes 100%. You are essentially sacrificing a little bit of life to do crazy amounts of damage. Now, the biggest part to all of this is that it is very easily mitigated, okay? Now that we've kind of touched on all of the abilities, we're going to go over all of our actual equipment. This is turning into a very long video, so a little further along than I anticipated it to be, but seeing as the first one, we're learning. Now, you guys do not need to have perfect min-max stacks the whole bit. When you are playing on this build, there is a couple of things that you really need to look for. One of which being the different types of unique gear. Unique gear is categorized with this like almost yellowy aura versus more of this orange dark brown aura. Sorry, I'm colorblind. If it's not brown, my bad. Okay. The reason you need those specifically is because you need 2 pieces of gear to guarantee all of that to do a good amount of damage. They are absolute game changers. Number 1 is this equipment right here, Flesh-Writ Carapace. This is going to give your sigil skills, if you can tell by the yellow text, because I can't move my mouse down there to show you guys. Sigil skills deal 88% increased damage, active sigils gain 1 kill every second, and unused kills are saved when they expire. Basically what this does is this is just going to turn Apocalypse into a crazy damage increase because it is now a sigil skill thanks to our other unique Hands of the Worldbreaker, which says Apocalypse deals 394%. The reason it's blue and you see it blue like that is because those are variable numbers. They can be different types, and that's why it's blue. But this one I know specifically caps out at 400, so 394 is solid. But increased damage when cast in Sigil of Chaos based on the number of kills the sigil is stored, and Apocalypse is now also a sigil skill, meaning the two of these together have sigil skill damage increases. And because our ultimate is a sigil skill itself, it ends up doing even more. Now, if you were paying attention, you remember I said something about mitigating the life you lose when you throw these little umbral chains. That is going to be from our boots. We have imprinted on here Undying. Undying is casting a skill, heals you for 2.9% of your maximum life, double this while injured. Injured is just 35% or less. So right now, I have 48,452 life. Meaning if I was under 35%, instead of gaining 2.9, I would gain 5.8. But if you remember, our soul shards, they take 4% of our maximum life. Which means until we get weak, we're losing a little bit of HP, but it's okay. As far as the rest of the gear goes, you will want to imprint on your pants the Heavenly Strength. This is just going to make it to where when you use a two-handed weapon, you end up gaining damage reduction. This helps a little bit with the damage mitigation as well, because not only are you using your own life to do damage, but you're still going to be getting hit as well. Our weapon is very, very important as well. While you have 4 or more overpower, which is thankfully very easy to obtain thanks to Valak, you are going to get fire skill casts deal 146% more damage. So, Apocalypse being fire ends up just crazy maxing out all of this. We've touched on these 5. Let's go ahead and go to the helmet. This is going to be the first mythic. Mythics are very, very rare, and I don't expect you guys to have it. So, if you don't, you can kind of slot in any sort of helmet with decent HP, critical stats, anything like that. Whatever you have works, will work here. Just make sure that it has maximum life on it, because the more life you have, the easier it is for you to survive. And on top of all of that, it's just a nice buffer to provide a little extra oomph, okay? The last unique piece that is really a requirement for this build is going to be the Hemet Stone. The Hemet Stone is super, super important, and it's because of the yellow text that it provides. Command Volok and Ritualist Fragments have 100% increased potency. Your occult skills deal 30% increased damage. Now, what this means is the Soul Shard that we were talking about is 100% more effective now. Volok, right here, is 100% effective right now. Or 100% more effective. And on top of that, our occult skills deal increased damage. Increased damage from occult skills are going to be our chains, our primary, our ultimate, as well as our dark prison. Meaning, everything is significantly stronger just with this one addition. So, if you're looking for an APOC Warlock build, APOC Lock is what I've been calling it, these are the 3 pieces you need, with a little bit of things in between. If you do not have Ring of Starless Skies, which is the second mythic, the only other mythic in the build, it's okay. Use any ring that gives you fire damage, health, critical multipliers, attack speed. You do not need to have everything to make this build strong. Reminder, this is an in-game build. You may not have everything that you need, but this is Torment 12 ready, okay? And just to prove it, here's a little bit of footage, kind of going over everything. Now, the very last part of this, now that you've seen a little bit of a showcase against 2 bosses getting absolutely destroyed, is we're going to go ahead and rapid fire all of the little things that you need to look for. Checklist is going to be Air of Perdition and the Ring of Starless Skies. Okay, getting these 2 mythics makes it a lot easier because your primary resource depletes a lot slower, which is very, very nice. Plus the damage increase from both of them is wonderful. That is going to be your 3rd most important thing to work on. Okay, and in fact, it is going to be the bottom of your list. because the damage increases are great, but do not go up in torment levels until you think you can. Go test out in the pit. Go learn if it's doable. If it's not doable, there's nothing wrong with staying with where you're at. There's a lot of people that are not doing Torment 12. That is okay. You don't need to be up there. The 3 most important pieces of gear you need are Fleshrick Carapace, Hands of the Worldbreaker, and the Hemet Stone. Make sure you guys are taking a look to figure out exactly where these are, just because I want to avoid spoilers. Make sure you look them up. Once again, Fleshrick Carapace, Hands of the Worldbreaker, and the Hemet Stone. If you can get all 3 of these, you will be able to see some of the gears start turning. Okay? Now that we've touched on the mythics, we've touched on the uniques because we can't change any of those abilities, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 4 other pieces of gear that are just of legendary quality that you need to make sure that you are putting the right skills on. Pants. Imprinted, while wielding a 2-handed weapon, gain 40% damage reduction. This is aspect of Heavenly Strength. Okay? Once you get that, you're golden. Next up is aspect of Undying. Casting a skill heals you for 2.9 of your maximum life. Double this while injured. This is very, very important because it mitigates our soul shard. We just get the bonus without actually hitting any of the problems. Next up is your weapon. Okay? This is going to be aspect of Cremators or Cremators aspect. One of the 2. I don't remember. The imprinted stat says, while you have 4 or more overpower, your fire skill casts deal 146% increased damage. Super, super valuable because we get overpower from our Command Valak ability. Okay? Last but not least is we have the aspect of Accelerating. Critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 49%. This one is probably the least important one, but critical striking is super, super important, and the more attack speed we have, the more umbral chains we can shoot out. The more shot out umbral chains, the faster the stacks build up. Last but not least is the Paragon. You do not need to follow this exactly like I did. All you need to know is which ones to end up going for. So, for our first one, you start with the starter board. You are going to put in a glyph socket. This one is going to be Hellforge. Going into the next, you are going to take Pyrosis. This is the legendary node. And you are going to go for Empowered. On to number 3, we have Ritualism as the board. And our node glyph socket is going to be Unbound. Going into number 4, we are going to be taking Eldritch Sight as the glyph socket. And where is my legendary? My legendary, right here. There it is. Hey, the colors are really hard for me to see, I'm not going to lie. Is Chaos. This is the board. This is the glyph socket. And onto our final page, which will take a while. I mean, I'm Paragon 227. It takes a little bit of grinding. I mean, I need 156 million XP. It takes a little while. Our glyph socket is going to be Entropy. And our legendary node is going to be Greater Hex. This is going to be the actual board. Rotate them in a way that they will end up looking like this. I'll end up leaving this on the second so you can kind of see exactly how I have, because these are not the default format. Ideally, what you want to go for is maximum life and willpower. Willpower is just going to be a damage increase. It's going to be very, very nice for you. Mind you, every other character that you have will eventually get Paragon points once you hit level 70 with them, but you will have to redo this Paragon board for every build on every character, always. So, you'll get used to using it very, very quickly, okay? Overall, ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely one of those games that I'm seriously enjoying. I recommend you guys give it a shot. I think the only part left to this entire build is going to be going for the actual set charms. So, ideally for your set seal, you want to make sure that you have 6 slots. If you get 6 slots, great. It doesn't really matter what else it comes with because you just need those 6. Getting 5 is fine, but 6 is ideal. For our actual set charms, we are going with Rite of the Nameless, and that is because it is going to increase all of our sigil skills a ton, okay? Casting a sigil skill, Apocalypse, is now going to create all base sigil skills at once, meaning all of those other sigils that we activated and we upgraded in our ability section are going to activate at that same time. On top of that, casting a sigil skill begins a ritual, which gives you more damage. Completing sigils is going to give you even more progress and make your occult skills free at different times, not including the damage reduction. Okay, so aiming for occult skills on these, as well as health, all stat bonuses, resistances, or resources is super, super valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this is a long one. I will definitely end up working on the actual formatting of this. Because this is the first video, we're just we're rocking it. We're seeing what's going to happen, and hopefully you guys enjoy. That is going to do it for today's video, though. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for hanging out. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, and most importantly, as always, let me know what it is that you guys are playing. Okay, I know I'm huge on builds. I'm huge on doing all this different stuff, but not all of you are. Sometimes you guys just like to watch other people make the builds, and you get to copy it. That's okay. But if that's the case, what are you playing? Are you excited for Ascendance? Are you excited for Diablo content? Maybe this is something that you never even thought of playing, and watching a little bit of me makes you want to play it. That being said, make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate